welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So today's video, I'm finally filming my eyeshadow palette collection and declutter video. Yes. Now I did this about a year ago. I just showed you guys my eyeshadow palette collection. I don't think I decluttered anything. And I've gotten myself a few more palettes over the years. So I just kind of wanted to give you an updated version of my collection. Now I did say this in that video. I'm going to say this again. This is not me trying to brag about all the eyeshadow palettes that I have. Please believe me. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just colored powder. I'm not dripping with like diamonds and rubies and emeralds. It's just kind of like my one indulgence that I have in my life. I love makeup and eyeshadow palettes are just my absolute passion. And I knew, I don't know, a few months before I started my channel that I really wanted to do that. And I felt like I needed to have some experience with different brands and different textures and different formulas and colors and all of that. So that when I did start my channel, I had a little bit of experience. I mean, I'm still pretty much a noob when it comes to makeup. I've only really been into it for about, I don't know, 3.5 to 4 years. But I don't know, it's just kind of what I do for myself. Most of the palettes that I have, well, pretty much all of them, they're all drugstore palettes or affordable palettes. I do have several indie brand palettes as well. The majority of my palettes I have either been given to me, I've gotten them with gift cards, I've gotten them on really good deals at like Marshall's or Ross's or TJ Maxx, or I got them off their website for also a really good deal. I think I have a total of maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 palettes that I bought at full price. And I do have like a couple of high-end palettes, but not really. Not that I have anything against high-end palettes. It's just, I don't know, my love for makeup just really comes in the affordable and drugstore realm of the makeup world. I love watching eyeshadow palette collection videos. They're like my absolute favorite video to watch. If someone has 5 palettes or 5,000 palettes, I'm all over watching that. I will watch the whole thing from beginning to end. I love it, with goosebumps and a set of pom-poms. So I am going to be splitting this video into 2 parts. Now, the way I have my eyeshadow palette set up, I do have like a narrow bookshelf in my beauty room that has 4 shelves on it, and it's got my larger and medium size and kind of smaller medium sized palettes. And then I have a set of 3 drawers, like plastic drawers that I got from Walmart, that has my smaller palettes in it. So what I thought I would do is I would start off with part 1 and show you the palettes that are on my bookshelf, and then finish up part 2 with the palettes that I have in my drawers. I hope that makes sense. So if you guys are interested to see what I have in my collection and what I will be decluttering, then I recommend that you sit back, relax, kick your feet up, maybe grab a drink or a snack, and I am gonna get the party started. Hi guys. All right, let's get started with this video. Now, I meant to mention at the very beginning and I forgot. Anything that I'm going to be decluttering, I'm either going to give to a coworker that loves eyeshadows, or my daughter, or I might start a Mercari or Poshmark account. I haven't decided that yet. It seems like a lot of work. It probably isn't, but I don't know. We'll see. And then also, I was going to arrange all this by brand. That's what I did the last time, and I just am too lazy to do that. I do have some of the palettes grouped by brand, but some of them are going to be kind of like in between other palettes. I hope that's not too disjointing or confusing, but you know what? I think you'll be just fine seeing my palettes just the way that I'm going to show them to you. All right, let's get started. The first palette I'm going to show you is a BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palette. This is the bubblegum. Now, I have not used this yet. I got this and a couple other ones of these series from Marshall's for like $6 right before Christmas. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a great deal. I got to get these. And blue eyeshadows used to make me kind of nervous. They don't really anymore. But this BH Cosmetics formula is probably my favorite out of all of the palettes that I own from BH. The shimmers and the mattes in these little babies are just amazing. If you guys haven't picked these up yet and you're able to find them somewhere, because I don't know that they're still available on the BH website, they are wonderful. Then I have the pistachio palette. This one I have used a few times. It's my favorite of the Sweet Shop palettes that I own because I love green eyeshadows. This shade right here called Treat. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. The shimmers and the mattes are just beautiful, and I love using this. Then we have the cherry on top, all red color story. Delish. And I've used this once and I loved the look that I created. Again, the shimmers and the mattes, they're stunning. I love using this and I cannot wait to use it again. Then we have the Cotton Candy palette. I've used this a few times and I love it. We have like light purples, kind of periwinkle blues, bluish purple. Then we have magentas and pinks. And I think this is such a fun color story. And to me, it absolutely says cotton candy. Then we have the Orange Sorbet. I have not used this one yet either. I don't know why, I just haven't yet. This one is one of the other ones that I got from Marshalls along with the bubble gum and the cherry on top. I don't have the brown one. I think that's called like waffle cone or something. I don't have that just because I felt like I already had those shades and other palettes in my collection. But yeah, this is stunning too, and I cannot wait to give this one a try. Then we have the Avocado Toast palette from BH Cosmetics, and this is so gorgeous. I love this palette. It's grungy, it's got greens and browns and mahoganies and kind of like goldish coppery, some peach matte, that little peach matte up here, and then these just beautiful shades down here. This green matte is gorgeous, this one's lovely, and then the shimmers are really nice too. So you can do a lot of different things with this, and I'm really glad that I have this in my collection. The formula is incredible. Then we have the Trendy in Tokyo, and this is a rainbow color story, of course, and I use this in my collab video with a Makeup in Chaos Ash. That was so much fun, and yeah, I love this palette. I don't know that it's BH Cosmetics' best formula palette. There's a couple shades in here that aren't really my favorites, but there are some really nice shimmers in this, so I will be keeping this one as well. Then we have the Summer in Saint Tropez. Now, I think I am going to declutter this one, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't love this color story for some reason. It just, I don't know, it's kind of like disjointed to me, I guess. I've used this twice, and I mean, the look I created both times was fine, but I don't know. I just don't ever reach for this, so I think it needs to go to a better home where it's going to get some more love. The Smitten in Switzerland from BH. This is gorgeous. I love this color story. It is, you know, I guess more neutral leaning, but it has some really pretty pops of color. These two shades right here, this blue and this green, oh, kind of olivey green, are so beautiful on the lid. I love them. And I really like the other options that you have in this palette. It's just, I don't know, it's a really, to me, it's a very well-rounded palette. And it's something I think anybody could use, whether you love color or not, or you're more a neutral fan. I think you could pull off a great look, no matter what your preferences are. Blueberry Muffin from BH Cosmetics. This is gorgeous. I did a palette bingo with Tina H, Beautiful Journey. That was so much fun. This is just a really fun blue palette because you do have other options to go along with it. So if you're like terrified of blue shadows, this is nice because you have some neutral options. You can kind of pull a look together using, you know, a little bit of blue if you want, or you can go all in and use all the blue shades. This shade right here, I think it's called Tempting. Yeah, it is gorgeous. It is so beautiful, so nice on the lid. This shade here, it's called Cheat Day. I love that. I love Sweet, Sugared. This one called Hot and Fresh is gorgeous. This one is beautiful. It's called Stud Muffin. And I just think this is such a fun palette, beautiful formula, excellent quality. Then I have the Lost in Los Angeles. I have not used this palette yet. This is a beautiful pastel palette. Now, what I thought I might do is do like a battle of the pastels. I might put this against the Nomad Cosmetics Tokyo Harajuku palette. I thought that might be kind of fun, just to have something different on my channel, just to see like the looks that I could create with both, like one on each eyelid. But this looks stunning to me. I've seen several creators create looks with this palette, and they were absolutely gorgeous. So I need to get off my lazy butt and use this. Then I have an OG palette from BH Cosmetics. This is the Royal Affairs palette. Now, this was the first real eyeshadow palette I ever purchased for myself. I got this at Ross's for pretty cheap, if I remember right. Now, I've panned some of the shades here. This is about almost 4 years old, and I used it, oh no, maybe a little over a month ago for work, and I love the look. Everything worked very well. It has not expired. It doesn't smell funky, and the shadows work really well. This is a great palette for beginners. This is no longer available, I don't think, but this was fun for me because it kind of helped me get used to using some more colorful shadows, because for the longest time I would only use all neutrals, and that was it. But yeah, this is really a fun palette, and I'm so glad that I have this. I'm never going to get rid of this one. Then I have this one from She Glam. This was a gift from Not Your Basic Steph, my beautiful friend, soul sister, and mentor. And I have not used this yet either. I think this is a gorgeous color story. Now, I have used another She Glam palette that I'll show you probably in part 2 that I didn't love, but I really do think I'm going to love this one. And I just think the color story is really cool. It's got the teals, the purples, kind of hot purples, the pinks, and just need to use this. Yeah. Now I have a Makeup Revolution palette. This is the, let's see, Courage Wild Animal palette. And I love the packaging. It's very cool. And the inside is gorgeous. This is a really pretty color story. You have some grungy options, but you have like the magentas or kind of burgundies. But this is just a really nice quality palette. I know that not everybody loves Makeup Revolution, but I do. And I really like the little animal prints that they have like embossed over some of the shades in this palette. I haven't used this for a while, but I really do like it. And this, I think, is also perfect for beginners. Kind of gets you used to using more colorful shadows, but you can like throw in a neutral too. This is an XX Revolution palette. This is called Tuxedo, and I love the packaging. It's kind of velvety and nice. I love it. It feels so expensive. And I think this is a cool color story. I like the blues and the browns and the grays. I've used this, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and I really like the quality of this. I just think it's a gorgeous palette. The looks I've created have been really nice, and it is a really nice quality palette, and I really like it. And I want to get some more of these XX Revolution palettes. I don't need to, but I'd like to. Then we have the Beauty Bay Age of Opulence palette. Now, Steph, Not Your Basic Steph, she got this for me for Christmas, and we did do a palette bingo collab with this baby. And oh, it is so gorgeous. If you have not gotten this palette, I have no idea if this is still available on the Beauty Bay website, but I know that sometimes they have really good sales with their palettes. I highly, highly recommend picking this up. The shimmers, the mattes, I've only used 6 shades out of this palette. I definitely am going to be using this again a ton. I just think it's gorgeous. I mean, look how pretty that shimmer is. That one. I mean, hello. And the mattes are gorgeous. And, you know, you do have some neutral options. So, you know, people that are totally freaked out about color can kind of warm themselves up to the idea. But this is an absolutely incredible quality palette, and I will not ever get rid of this, ever. Then we have the Eloise Cosmetics, the Queen palette. It says, a queen lies in all of us. And this was the very first palette I used in a palette bingo with Not Your Basic Steph back when I very first started my channel. And this is such a beautiful color story, I think. You have a lot of different options here. Great quality. The mattes and the shimmers are very, very nice. The mattes blend out beautifully, and the shimmers are very dynamic and just gorgeous on the lid. So yeah, I am not getting rid of this palette either. Now I have a couple palettes that I got off the BoxyCharm shop. This is back when I was getting BoxyCharm. This is the Pinky Rose Cosmetics 80s Baby palette. Now I did try to use this palette in a look early on when I started my channel, and I was just not very impressed with the mattes. The shimmer was okay, 1981. It was nice, but I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to use this palette again. So I think I am going to go ahead and declutter this. And it makes me sad because I really wanted to try this brand. I'd heard Angelica Nikovic talk about it. But yeah, I just was not impressed with the performance. And I usually try to give a palette more than one chance, but this one, I just don't think it deserves more than one chance. Then I have the Center Stage from Pinky Rose Cosmetics. I also got this off the BoxyCharm shop, and I really like this color story. I mean, it's pretty neutral, but this shade right here, it's called Star, that kind of mustard matte. Oh, I just think that's gorgeous. This shimmer, it's almost kind of like a pressed glitter. It's called Scandal. I think that looks gorgeous. And then Havana, that's just a beautiful kind of, I don't know, wine shade. And then we have this one too called Infamy that kind of looks like a pressed glitter as well. I don't think it's exactly a pressed glitter, but, and I'm not going to be swatching anything because it just takes too long, and I apologize because I know a lot of you like swatches, but I just don't have the time this evening. But yeah, I really do want to try this. So I will not be decluttering this one. I just need to give it a shot and see what I think. Then I have a couple palettes from Coastal Scents, which is no longer in business, which breaks my heart. This is the Revealed 3 palette, and I love this color story. I think I've used this palette twice, and I really like the formula. I do have some singles from Coastal Scents as well that I really enjoy using. Haven't used them in a while, but I used to use them all the time. And I just think this is a nice, easy to use palette. I mean, you know, I think this would be great for beginners or people that just like, you know, more of a neutral look. But I do like the quality of this, and I think it's a really pretty palette. This is the Revealed Smoky palette from Coastal Scents, and this is more of like the smokier tones, of course. We have like the black and the kind of navy blue or darker blue, and then we have some grays and some browns and a couple like burgundy shades. And I've used this a couple of times. I really like this, and so yes, I will be keeping this. I don't know that I will use it much on my channel just because you can't get this. The brand is no longer in business, but I do really like having this. It's a nice neutral option palette. Then I have the Zoeva Matte Spectrum palette. This was a gift from Not Your Basic Steph. She sent this to me all the way from the UK. Let me turn that around. And I love this palette. I've used it twice. I need to use it a lot more, but the mattes are just wonderful. And this is really fun to use like with some single shimmers or like an all shimmer palette. I don't a lot of the time use like 2 different palettes together, but I will definitely do that with this palette because these mattes are totally worth grabbing another palette and using it together. This is the Zoeva Caramel Melange palette, and I love Zoeva shimmers. I do have more mature eyelids, and these shimmers are just really nice on more mature skin. You know, I don't really want to breathe life into that concept, but you know, it's the truth. I do have older eyelids now. And so I think that these are just really nice. They're very soft. They don't add texture. They don't emphasize texture. They're really easy to apply, and I love the mattes too. And I think this is a really pretty warm color story. Then we have the Cocoa Blend from Zoeva. I love this. This is gorgeous. This is more of the cool toned, I guess, a sister to that palette. But we do, I mean, that's more warm tone, I guess. But I really like this a lot. Again, the shimmers are perfect for my older eyelids, and I love the mattes too. Then we have the Basic Moment palette from Zoeva. I just used this the other day for a look for work, and I put pictures of it on Instagram. I know that it goes the other way, but for filming purposes, I'm going to turn it this way. And this is such a beautiful, like taupey, cool tone palette. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's really fun to use. I created a really pretty look, very soft, very subtle, kind of romantic looking, and I just love this palette. Now I have a couple Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. This is the Jackie Aina, and you guys know how much I love this palette, especially the shade Dowalas. I love it. I have used this twice on my channel. The last time I used it, I did a palette bingo with Not Your Basic Steph, and she had me choose the shades, and I chose all the neutral shades. And Steph loves colorful eye looks, so I was like, oops. But I love this palette. I love the shimmers and the mattes. Everything is just fabulous, fantastic. I love it. I will never get rid of this, ever. Then I have the Riviera palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love this. I don't use this near enough. I don't know what my problem is, but it's just gorgeous. I mean, look at the different colors you have in the shimmers. Like most of these, I think all of these, except for that's a matte. All of these are shimmers, and they're just beautiful, vibrant, dynamic. I love them. I love the mattes. I love all the different things you can do with this palette, the different colors, and I just need to use this palette more. This is a BH Cosmetics palette called the Opalescent palette. I love this. It's very neutral, but there are some really pretty pops of color. I think this is a really nice palette for the springtime. And I love the shimmers. They're very soft and subtle, but they look so beautiful on the lid. This is just a very, like I said, soft palette, kind of romantic looking, and I really do like the quality. I don't think this is BH Cosmetics' best quality, but I think it's decent. I really like this palette. Oh, and then we have a little sneaker inner here. This is the Spice of Life palette from Zoeva. I should have shown that earlier, but you know what? It's okay. This is gorgeous. I have used this once. I need to use it again. Very warm toned, beautiful palette. Again, love the Zoeva shimmers. I'm a broken record, and I love the mattes in this palette. This is a really nice quality palette. All right, now I'm going to show you some Juvia's Place. This is the Festival. I love this palette. Look how pretty that color story is. I mean, this does say Festival. I don't think I've used this near enough. I mean, you can't really even tell that I've used it. I have used it a few times, but need to use it some more. This shade here is so gorgeous. It's called Kaliki, I believe. This shade here called Uli. That is so much fun to use because it's kind of like a topper shimmer. You can put it over the top of any of these mattes and it completely changes the look. I love it. I think this is a gorgeous, vibrant color story. And I love the packaging of all Juvia's Place palettes. The Saharan by Juvia's Place. This is lovely. I used this in my tribute video to Mel Thompson for a Makeup Queens Challenge video, and I love this. It's gorgeous. That red matte right there, lovely. This kind of foresty green shimmer. I mean, it's just so fun, and I will never get rid of this palette because I just love this color story. I don't have anything really close to this, I don't think, in my collection, and I just adore this. I adore it. Then we have the Saharan 2. I think this might be my favorite packaging of a Juvia's Place palette that I own. I just think that's so pretty, the purple and then this beautiful ladies on the front. This color story at first kind of threw me. I wasn't really sure what I thought about it. I was like, I don't see how these go together. But I have used this and created some beautiful looks with it. I don't use it a ton, but I do think I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit longer and just kind of give it some more chances because it's a very nice quality palette and it's a gorgeous color story. It just sometimes takes me a minute to figure out exactly what I want to do with it. Then we have the Nomad palette from Juvia's Place, and oh boy, do I love this palette. I think this is my favorite Juvia's Place palette, honestly. I love grungy color stories. I love this yellow matte here. It does have the shimmers in it that just kind of fly off your lid. I don't really know the point of that, but it does look really pretty in the pan. I love the gold shimmer. I use this palette in a palette bingo with Makeup by Blowfish, and she and I really need to do another collab together. I love Emily. She is amazing. But yeah, this palette is amazing. I love it. It's wonderful. I will keep it forever and ever. Then we have the Afrique by Juvia's Place, and I really like this one too. At first, the blue background kind of threw me. I don't know why. I just kind of was like, whoa, that's weird. But I love this color story. Have not used this near enough either. I thought about maybe decluttering this one, but I really like it, and I want to give it some more chances. I want to use this actually. So I am using a random generator app to pick my palettes for me every morning, and I'm hoping at some point the app chooses this palette. Nubian 3 Coral from Juvia's Place. Oh yes, this I love this color story. When I first got this palette, I was like, ooh, wow, that's weird. I don't know that those will work together, but they do, and they're gorgeous. I love the silver shimmers. I love the coral shimmers. I like that you have deeper options, lighter options, and I just think this is such a cool, unique color story, and I love this palette. The Magic Mini by Juvia's Place. I need to use this more often too. I don't know what my problem is. My random generator app needs to get its act in gear and pick me some Juvia's Place palettes in the morning. These two shades right here, these two shimmers, and these two shimmers right here as well. I mean, hello, they're gorgeous. I love the mattes, and I just think this is such a beautiful, fun, unique, interesting color story, and I love this palette. Then we have the Nubian 2 from Juvia's Place, and I love this color story. At first I thought maybe I might declutter this palette, but then I was like, no, why would you do that? You love it. And I've used this a few times and I really like the quality. So yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this and try to see if my random generator app will choose this for me. Or maybe I'll just pull it out and use it myself. I don't need that thing to tell me what to do. Then we have the Blooming Lovely palette from Sample Beauty. This is a UK indie brand that I'm in love with. Pia, my friend here on YouTube and in life in general, her channel name is Makeup by PW. She sent this to me from Denmark, and I used this in a video not too long ago where I showed you some other things that Pia sent me from Denmark. Now, I used, 4 shades, and I wasn't super thrilled with the performance of the mattes. I mean, they're okay, but I don't know. I definitely want to give this palette another try because I think the color story is gorgeous, and I love Sample Beauty. I love their shimmer formula, but I don't know. I have a couple other palettes from them that I like better, but I am going to hold on to this and try it again. Try it a few times before I just decide that I don't love it. Then I have the Evolution palette from Queen Nubia Cosmetics. I am now a brand ambassador for this brand. And I used this palette a couple videos back, created a look with this shade here, these two shades right here, and then I used this silver shimmer, this silver shimmer on the lid. And I definitely am going to be using this again. I'm going to be doing a Makeup Queens Challenge video. I'm going to be using this palette in conjunction with a couple other ones to create my look. I am actually hosting the Makeup Queens Challenge for the month of March, and I'm so excited. But yeah, this is gorgeous. I love this brand, very affordable. I'm so honored and blessed to be a brand ambassador, and I love the brand owner so much. I could just kiss her face off. I love her. This is the Hasina 2 palette from Blush Tribe. Blush Tribe no longer exists, but I had been dying to get this palette, and Nikki Raven, that sweetheart, one of my dear friends here on YouTube and one of my absolute all-time favorite creators, she sent this to me from the Netherlands. And I literally screamed with joy when I opened up the box and saw this in person. It is so gorgeous. I have used this in a video on my channel. I actually wore this to my daughter's rehearsal dinner. I created a look with this for that. And I just felt like $1,000,000 with this on my eyelids. I'm telling you, this is such a beautiful palette. I love this color story. I mean, I could just use this palette and not use anything else, maybe for the rest of my life, and be perfectly happy. I don't know. That's a pretty bold statement. But I do like the mattes and the shimmers. I think the packaging's gorgeous. Like I said, I love the color story. My dream palette, I finally have it. Hooray. Then I have the Venice Fling. This is the Bailey Sarian and Estate Cosmetics collab. And I love Bailey. She's another one of my favorite creators here on this platform. And I really enjoy using this palette. I really like the mattes and I love the shimmers. The shimmers are a little bit like softer, I guess, but you can build them up and they look gorgeous. And the mattes blend out very nicely. And yeah, I think this is a really cool color story. Neutral, but with some pops of color, which I love. Then we have What's the Tea from the Balm Cosmetics. I love this palette. I think I got this off of Ipsy. And the cool thing is you have these two different primers, and then you can layer the shimmers over the top of this primer or that primer, and it totally changes the look of the shadows. It's gorgeous. My favorite is to use the black primer and then also to use this shade here called The Buzz, that kind of teal shimmer. But yeah, I haven't used this near enough. I just kind of forget that I have it. So I don't want to get rid of it yet. I'm going to hold on to it and try to use it some more. And yeah, I love this palette, and the packaging is adorable. Look how cute that is. Then we have the Suva Beauty Magic Ecstasy palette. Steph, Not Your Basic Steph, she sent this to me from the UK. And I used this in a collab video with her and Marina. We wanted to do like a carnival inspired look. And I'm telling you, this is definitely a carnival in a palette. These are all pressed glitters and they're just amazing. I know not everybody likes pressed glitters, but these are very finely milled and they're really easy to apply and they're really easy to remove. And the mattes in this palette are absolutely amazing. Like, they're just amazing. They're super pigmented. They blend out beautifully. And I love the fact that I have this palette. I wanted it for a very long time. And sweet Steph, my sister, she sent it to me. And I love it so much. Then I have the Morphe and Manny MUA Glam Palette. I am going to be decluttering this. Now, it kind of breaks my heart because I love Manny. He's one of my favorite creators as well. But I was a little bit underwhelmed with this palette. We have the two highlighters here, and then we have some, you know, kind of more neutrally options here. This shade's really pretty, called, what is it? Gementa? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, I just don't really use this very often. I've used it a couple of times, and I just wasn't super thrilled with the looks. I mean, it wasn't bad. I don't know. I have other palettes in my collection that I would choose sooner than I would choose this one. So yes, I am going to be decluttering this. Then I have the Yasmin palette from Miali Beauty. This was initially Blush Tribe. That went out of business. Then she opened or started this brand, and then this one went out of business. Kind of a bummer. I got this for 50% off when they were going out of business, and I love this palette. I love the color story. The mattes and the shimmers are all very, very nice. You know, I don't like to really show palettes that you can't get anymore, but you know, this is a part of my collection, and I just love it. I'm so glad that I got this, and I love the packaging too. It's really cool. Then I have the Makeup Revolution Soph X Ultra Eyeshadows palette, and I love this palette so much. Now, again, this is, I think, more appropriate for beginners in makeup, but I do think if you're a seasoned makeup artist, you would like this palette too. Maybe you might not love it, but I think you'd like it. And I just really like the color story. I like the different shades of the shimmers, and the mattes are nice. And yes, I will be keeping this because I really like to use this. I just need to use it more. But I'd have to change my look probably 30 times a day to use all these dang palettes. Then I have the Revolution Soph X Extra Spice palette. This one I haven't used as much as I've used the original one, but I really do like this. I've used it a couple of times. This silver shade right here called Infinity is beautiful, silver shimmer. I love it. And I really like these shades down here too. I don't think I've used those yet. So yes, I will be holding on to this and trying to use it more. That's my goal anyway. It's gorgeous, I think. Then I have the W7 Total Eclipse palette. This is the dupe for the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. That's so hard for me to say. And this is a decent palette. It's not great. I think if you put this against the Huda Beauty palette, this one would go home bawling with its tail between its legs. So I will be decluttering this. I just really wasn't very impressed with the shimmers. Like this one here, I thought would be amazing. That one too. I don't know. I used them and I was like, wah, wah. So I think I will be decluttering this as well. The Sample Beauty Jewel Tone palette. Now this is a winner. I love this palette so much. Oh my gosh. Steph and I use Sample Beauty palettes in a collab together. We talked about why we started our YouTube channel. I love that video. And this is just amazing. The shimmers in here, especially this one called Diaspora, this one called Moonstone. I mean, oh, they're very duochromy, very flippy. They go on the lid so beautifully. They look like liquid metal. I love the mattes. I mean, this to me is a really high quality Sample Beauty palette. And I'm so glad that I have this one in my collection. And I don't think I will ever get rid of this, ever. Then I have the LA Girl Pro Mastery eyeshadow palette. Try to get this thing open without breaking my finger. This is a gorgeous palette, very good quality. I love the color story, very warm tone, kind of rich wine shades and some softer pinks and I don't know, kind of almost maybe corally peach shades as well. And I just adore this palette. I don't use it enough, but I've used it several times and I just love it. I love the looks that I can create with this. Very good quality. I think I got this from Target. I think it was on sale for maybe like, I don't know, 25% off, but I'm so glad I have this. If you guys haven't tried LA Girl shadows, I highly recommend them. There's a few more palettes from LA Girl that I really want to get. I don't need them, but I really want to get them. They're gorgeous. Then I have the Prism Makeup Interstellar palette. Now I got this off Amazon. This is the dupe for the Urban Decay Born to Run palette, and I love this palette. Tina H, Beautiful Journey, one of my collab partners and dear friends here on YouTube, she was talking about using this palette, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get mine out and use it. And I'm so glad that I did because I love the look that I created. This is a pretty old palette. I think I've had it for, gosh, probably close to 4 years. And the last time I used it, which was what, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it worked fine. So I was really happy. And I think this is a really fun color story because you have so many different options. And this was a much cheaper version of the Urban Decay one. So that's always what I'm looking for, is a good bargain. Then we have the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. This is my favorite e.l.f. palette that I have in my collection. It's kind of filthy, I apologize. I used this in my collab video with Lori Latimer, Sis Fantastic. We used images that inspired us, hiking image pictures, and then she had a program that generated the color story that we used for our looks. And as soon as I saw the color story that that program had generated, I'm like, oh, I'm using the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. I love this palette. It's so gorgeous. The shimmers and the mattes are just stunning. You can do a lot of different things with this. You have some neutral options, but then some beautiful pops of color. I highly recommend picking this up. I got this off Amazon for like, I don't know, 12 bucks, and I love it. Then we have the BH Cosmetics Glam Reflection Rosé palette, and it's filthy on the front. I apologize. My fingerprints are all over it. I do like this palette. I don't know that I need this palette. I mean, I do feel like I already have this Color Story and other palettes, but I do like the formula of this. I've used this a couple of times, and I really liked the looks that I created. They're very soft, subtle shimmers, very soft, subtle mattes, but they blend out beautifully. So yeah, I am going to keep this. I don't know that I necessarily need to, but for right now, it's going to stay in my collection. Then we have the Athena palette from Dido Cosmetics, and I got this from Ipsy. And I love this Color Story, and I don't use this near enough either. This shade right here, this kind of like deep sage green shimmer, it's so pretty. These shades up here are so lovely. I think this is such a beautiful grungy color story, but kind of like bright and vibrant at the same time. And I just love having this in my collection, and I love the packaging. She is my inner warrior. That woman right there, she is. This is the Too Much Drama palette from Rude Cosmetics. And this is a brand that I found through Leora Halal Goldberg. She talked about this brand a few times on her channel, and I thought, ooh, I want to try that. And I got this palette off Amazon, and I really like it. Used it a couple of times, really like the looks that I created. I love the color story, and the quality is very nice. It's a really nice palette, and I love the packaging. I think it's super cool. Then I have the Desert Oasis palette from BH Cosmetics. This was one of my favorite palettes from BH Cosmetics until I got some other palettes from BH Cosmetics. But I think this is a really fun palette. It's just that I don't really use this very much anymore. It's got some bronzer options. It's got some highlighting options over here. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a really nice quality palette. It's just that I don't really use like face palettes, if that makes any sense. I don't know that I can part with this right now though. So I think I am going to hold on to it and try to use it more often, but I don't know. I'm going to give this one a think, and we'll see what we're going to do with it. Then I have the Solar Flare from BH Cosmetics. I got this, I think, from Ross's for like, I don't know, $5 or $6. And I love this palette. It has the most amazing baked formula shimmers ever. I mean, BH Cosmetics has nailed the baked shimmer formula. Ugh, this is so fun to use. This is really fun to use like in conjunction with the Zoeva Matte Spectrum or Spectrum Matte palette. I should probably do that. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull those two out together and use them because this is so fun. These are such beautiful shifty shades, and they just look like absolute liquid metal on your lids. This is the Buxom and Ash K Home palette. This was a gift for my stepdaughter, and I used this in a video where I talked about my parents' divorce. This is a gorgeous palette. I love the quality. I love the fact that you have neutrals, but then you also have some colorful options as well. This shade here I need to use. It's called Major. I just think that looks so beautiful. I don't know why I haven't used it yet. I have used this shade here. This is called Scorpio, that blue shimmer, and oh, lovely. Yeah, I love this palette. I'm so glad my stepdaughter got this for me. I'm going to keep this forever. Then I have some C Color palettes. Now, C Color, they're all dupe palettes. I believe this is duping a Jeffree Star palette. I'm not sure, but I think so. I don't really follow Jeffree Star at all or like have any of his palettes, so I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard. This one I have not used yet. I don't know why, I just haven't used it yet. And I'm not going to get rid of this because I really do like C Color's formula. I think they've done a really good job. I mean, I don't think they're nearly as good as the original palettes that they're duping. And I know that not everybody likes brands that dupe palettes. They kind of feel like they're stealing the intellectual property of the original brand, which I get it. But I'm a cheapskate and these are cheaper. So that's my only motivation here. That's it. This is the Unisex 4, another C Color palette that I believe is duping a Jeffree Star. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, and if I am, please correct me in the comment section. Now, I have used this before, and I like it, but this is not something that I'm probably going to reach for again. So this one I am going to declutter. I think the other one has some more interesting shades in it, better color story. This one I think I am going to declutter. Then I have the Unisex 5, and this is gorgeous. I've used this. Have I used this? Yes, I have used this. I think I've used it once. Again, this is just not something that I reach for a lot. And out of the three, I think I like the Unisex 3 color story better. So I am going to declutter this as well. Then I have the Paulina palette from Blush Tribe. And this was also sent to me from Nikki Raven. This was my other dream palette that I just had to get my hands on and could never find it anywhere. I was so thrilled when she got this palette for me. This is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The formula is amazing. The shimmers, the mattes, I love this palette so much, and I just could buy Nikki a brand new car, house, boat, whatever she wants for sending me this palette. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I also love Paulina Beauty. She's one of the very first creators I started watching when I started getting into makeup on YouTube. Then I have the Badass Beauties On Patrol palette. This is a US indie brand that I found through Leora Halal Goldberg. She was talking about this brand on one of her new makeup release videos. And I thought, ooh, I love the sound of Badass Beauties, so I want to try these palettes. And I have this one and a couple other ones I'll show you too. We have several pressed glitters. This whole row is pressed glitters down here. Now, I have not used these pressed glitters yet, but I've swatched them and they're gorgeous. I really like them. And I think they're going to apply well and remove well also. And I just think this is a really fun color story. I mean, look how fun these different pressed glitters are. And then we have some really fun shimmers and mattes. And I just think this is a gorgeous palette. And I love the fact that this is Badass Beauties. The name of the brand just seals it for me right there. Then I have the MRE palette from Badass Beauties as well. I'm going to turn this way so you can see it better. This is a beautiful rainbow color story. I used this palette early on in my channel, created a look with like the greens and the blues and the yellows, I believe. Yeah. And I love the shimmers and I love the mattes. I don't know that this is the best quality rainbow palette that I own, but it is very nice. And these are very affordable palettes. And I just really like to support indie brands, whether they're from the US or the UK or wherever. I just love that. I love giving like smaller brands my love and money. I just think it's fun. And yeah, love this palette. I think it's gorgeous. Then we have the Feel Dot palette from Badass Beauties. I have done a video using this palette. I created 2 different looks with it. I love this palette. Out of the 3, this is my favorite palette. I love the grunginess of it. I love the fact that there's these like army greens, this silver or gray. This is a silver shimmer. We have the browns. I don't know, the pinks and the red here. I just love this palette. I love it. And I don't use it enough either. Gosh, but I need to get this baby out and use it again because I really enjoy it. And I love supporting this brand. I love it. Then we have the Au Naturel from Rude Cosmetics. Now, I thought about maybe decluttering this too, but the quality of this palette is really nice. And I do like having more like neutral palettes in my collection too. It's kind of fun to like compare and contrast different neutral palettes for me. I don't know why, but it is. And this is just a really nice palette. I love the shimmers and I love the mattes. And I think this is a really pretty color story. Some may find it kind of boring, but I do think you can create some really nice, pretty soft, work appropriate looks with this palette. And so I am going to be keeping it. Then we have some Nomad palettes. Now, this is the Whistler palette. I have not used this yet. This is pristine. It is incredible. I have got to film with this palette. What am I doing? I don't know. But yeah, I actually got this, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I literally just took it out of the package that it came in like 2 days ago. Oh, this is so beautiful. I've seen so many creators create such gorgeous looks with this palette. I cannot wait to get my little brushes in there and put this baby on my eyelids. Then I have the Tuscan palette from Nomad, and I got this off Ipsy. Now, this is probably my least favorite Nomad palette, not because of the quality. The quality is perfect. The shimmers and the mattes are amazing, but the color story compared to the other palettes that I have from Nomad just is not as quite as exciting. But I will be keeping this because I love Nomad Cosmetics. Love it. Then I have the Berlin Underground from Nomad, and this palette is just phenomenal. Now you can't get this anymore, which breaks my heart, but you know what? I'm so glad that I have it. That doesn't really break my heart. No, I mean, that might be kind of selfish, but I'm thrilled that I have this in my collection. I've used this a couple of times on my channel. Andi Does Stuff and I, we did a palette bingo, and then Dion Loves Makeup and I, we did 2 different looks with this palette, and I just love it. It's got such beautiful satin shades in here. They are just amazing. The quality of this palette is just superb. It's probably in my top, oh gosh, I'd say my top 3 palettes. I just love this so much. And like I said, I'm so happy that I have this. Then I have the Cartagena Magica palette from Nomad. And this, ooh yeah, this is so pretty. I've only used this palette once. I've got to get my act together and use it again. I really want to try this shade here, this beautiful kind of like olivey green matte. These shimmers are amazing and the mattes are amazing. I can't say enough good things about Nomad Cosmetics. I will keep this palette forever and ever. I love it. I love the brand. Look at the packaging. Gorgeous. Then I have the Nomad Tokyo Harajuku palette. This is freaking amazing. These shimmers down here, this whole row is full of these like life-altering, life-changing, life-improving shimmers. Then we have a row of satins. Then we have a row of mattes. Now, when I first got this palette, I was like, I don't know that I'm going to know what to do with that because, I don't know, pastels just kind of weren't my thing. But man, they are now. I love this palette. Katie, Makeup for Lost Time, she's done some looks with this palette, and so has Freya from Freya's Makeup Lounge. And I'm telling you, this palette is incredible. If you don't have it, I highly recommend picking it up. It is life-changing for the better, I promise. Then I have some Alter Ego palettes. This is the Aurora palette. I believe this is the dupe for the Natasha Denona Sunrise or Sunset palette. Like I said, I'm a noob in makeup. I love this color story. It's just this beautiful, vibrant sunset, sunrise. I mean, gorgeous. The mattes, the shimmers, I love it. This one right here called Dawn is my favorite shade in this palette. Oh, I'm so glad I have this. And it's a much cheaper version of the Natasha Denona palette. So if you're cheap like me, get this one instead. Then I have the Alter Ego Goddess palette. This is the dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold palette, I believe. And I love this palette. It's such a beautiful grungy color story. This shade right here, I can't read the name. Oh, Cassandra. It's just amazing. I'm so glad I got this palette. This is, you know, a cheaper version of the Natasha Denona one. So again, cheap, like me, get this. It's wonderful. Then I have the Artemis palette from Alter Ego. This is the Metropolis dupe from Natasha Denona. This palette, it's so beautiful. The shimmers and the mattes, it's got the cream to powder formula and some of the shimmers, and I love this palette. I'm so glad I have this. It's just so much fun to use. There's so many different things you can do with this, and the quality is superb and cheaper than Natasha Denona. Then I have a couple Cara Beauty palettes I'm going to show you. This is the Orange Pop palette. I've used this on my channel as well. I love this palette. I love Cara Beauty palettes. Got this from TJ Maxx, and just think this is such a beautiful, warm, vibrant color story, and I love the quality of these palettes. They're amazing. Then I have the Purple Haze. This is also from Cara Beauty. Love it. This shade here and this shade here, they're like these kind of smushy, buttery, textured shadows. Now they kind of look like Super Shock, but those don't work for me at all. But these ones from Cara Beauty, they work beautifully. I love them. You just spray them a little bit, put them on the lid. You look gorgeous all day. Then I have the Dido Cosmetics Venus palette. I got this, I believe, in a BoxyCharm, and I really like this. I've only used this once, but I really like the look that I created. The shimmers are very sparkly and glittery without being a pressed glitter. They're really gorgeous on the lid, and I'm really glad that I got this from BoxyCharm because it's a really nice palette. Then I have this one from Profusion. This is the mattes palette, so all of these shades are mattes. This is really fun to use. I haven't used this in a really long time, but I don't want to give this up yet because I really like having all matte palettes that I can use with my all shimmer palettes. It's really fun to kind of do that every once in a while. This is a great quality palette. It's super cheap. I got this at the drugstore for, I don't know, maybe, I think it was on sale for like half off. I think it was like $5, and I was like, score. And I love having this and just need to use it more. Then I have the Michaela palette from Glamlight. Now I have not used this yet. This has just been sitting here patiently waiting for me to use it. I have wanted to try this brand for so long, and I just could not decide on what palette I wanted to get from the brand. And after watching some of my favorite creators gush about how amazing this palette was, I thought, okay, I'm gonna get this. And it was on sale. I can't remember how much on sale it was, but felt like it was a really good deal. So I got this, and now I just need to get off my lazy buns and film with it, because look how pretty this color story is. Oh, it's amazing. And I love the packaging, how it kind of like, you know, the glitter kind of goes up. I mean, how fun, it's like a disco ball. Then I have the IBY Beauty Enlighten palette. I love this. I got this off Amazon. I have a couple of IBY highlighters, and I have another smaller IBY Beauty palette that I really liked. And I just saw this and thought, ooh, I want to get that. It was like, I don't know, $12. And I used this in a video when I talked about toxic friendships. I use this to create the look for the Warrior Queens makeup challenge. And this is just a really nice quality palette. The shimmers are gorgeous. They're just vibrant and stunning, and they go on just beautifully. The mattes are really nice, and I cannot wait to use this palette again. It's gorgeous. Then I have the So Jaded palette from ColourPop in collaboration with Kathleen Lights. Now, I reorganized my palette after watching Angelica Liramar do a video where she did that. I literally came up here, grabbed my palette, went downstairs, got a magnet, popped them all out, and put them back in the way I felt was more aesthetically pleasing. You guys might think I've lost my mind. So obviously the shade names don't match the colors or the shadows, I guess that makes more sense. But this palette is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes because it's got so many fun different options, the shimmers and the mattes. It's just a really good quality palette, and there's tons of different things you can do with it. I love the packaging. Now I have a couple more Cara Beauty palettes. This is the Life of the Fiesta. I have used this palette on my channel before. There are 3 pressed glitters here, here, and here. I love the Cara Beauty pressed glitter formula. It is amazing. It's very finely milled. It goes on beautifully. It comes off beautifully. And I just really love Cara Beauty's palettes. They're such great quality. I don't really hear anybody talking about this brand on YouTube. I love this palette. I love all of my Cara Beauty palettes. I think this is a beautiful color story. The Flower After Hours palette from Cara Beauty. Cool packaging. I mean, look how pretty that is. Now, this did fall apart. And now this is not the palette's fault. This is my fault because I used to cram all of my palettes into my plastic drawers. Finally, I got the bookshelf out of the garage and put my bigger palettes on that and kind of saved my palettes from getting destroyed because I had them just jammed in my drawers like a ding dong. But this is such a beautiful color story. I love this palette. I've used this on my channel before too. And yeah, again, love this brand. Love it. Oop, we got a sneaker here. This is another Nomad palette, Nomad Cosmetics palette. This is the America's Parks palette. And I use this in a palette bingo with Dion Loves Makeup. And oh boy, I love this palette so much. It is perfect color story for America's Parks. I mean, hello. They just nailed it with this. The shimmers are stunning. The mattes are stunning. I will keep this palette forever and ever. I love it with all of my heart. It's beautiful. Then I have the Diamond palette. This is also from C Color. I think this is like a Fenty Beauty dupe. I don't ever use this. I've used this a couple of times. It was fine, but I don't know. I never reach for it. So I will be decluttering this as well. The quality is not bad. I mean, it's fine. It's just, I don't use it. So yeah, it needs to go somewhere where someone will use it. So I'm going to declutter this one. Then I have the Spotlight palette from OPV Beauty London. This is a UK indie brand that I just love, this palette. I did a palette bingo with PAW, Makeup by PAW, and that was so much fun. And I have not used this since then, and I really don't know why. I need to get this out and use it. Like I said, my random generator app needs to do me a solid and pull this baby out soon because it's just wonderful. I love the quality, the mattes, the shimmers, everything. And I think the packaging is super cool. Then we have the Fall For Me eyeshadow palette from Queen Nubia Cosmetics. This was the very first palette that I got from the brand. This is what made me fall in love with the brand, really, is this eyeshadow palette. I love the quality of this. It's very affordable. The shimmers are stunning. The mattes are really nice. And yeah, I just love having this palette and I love supporting this brand. I love the brand owner, the brand, everything. Then I have the Alien Cosmetics, which is now known as Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the Strawberry Milkshake palette that I have not used yet. Steph, Not Your Basic Steph, she sent this to me from the UK for my birthday last summer. And I was gonna do a collab with two other creators, Steph being one of them. And we just never got it together to do that. So maybe Steph and I can just do it. I don't know, we'll see. But this is such a unique color story in my collection. I don't have anything even remotely close to this. I have swatched a couple of the shimmers and they're just stunning. I've heard nothing but good things about Alien Cosmetics or Unearthly Cosmetics. So yeah, I've got to get off my fanny and use this too. Look how fun the packaging is too. So cool. Then I have a couple of Ace Beauté palettes. This is the Nostalgia palette, and this is such a beautiful, vibrant color story. I have not used this yet. My plan when I got this, I think I got this from BoxyCharm, was to use this immediately. And then, you know, life gets in the way or other palettes get in the way or I don't know. And I just haven't used this yet, but God, look how gorgeous this is. I would love to use this in a palette bingo collab with somebody. I'm begging somebody to do a palette bingo collab with me with this palette. Then I have the Flare palette from Ace Beauté and Freya's Makeup Lounge. She and I did a palette bingo with this. This is freaking awesome. I love this palette. I really do. The shimmers and the mattes that we used were just phenomenal. And then I used this, I think a few days later, created a look like with the green, these shades over here. It was so fun and it was beautiful. And yeah, I'm so happy that I have this. I think I got this off BoxyCharm too, and really like the formula of this palette. Then I have the Artitude Cosmetics Color Splash palette. My beautiful friend Marina, her channel name is Make by Marina. She and I have done a few collabs together. She sent this to me from Sweden, but this is a UK indie brand. Steph, Not Your Basic Steph. She is a brand ambassador for this brand. Look how beautiful this color story is. Oh my gosh. Makes me happy just to look at it. And it is amazing quality. The shimmers and the mattes, everything. I cannot wait to use this palette again. I use this on my channel. I may have already said that, but I love the look that I created. And yeah, this is a stunning palette and I really want to get some more from this brand. Then I have the Sylvia Ganni palette from BH Cosmetics, and this looks like it's been through the war. Sorry about that. I really like this palette. I just don't ever reach for it anymore. We've got a couple highlighter options over here. This is a really nice quality palette and I really like the color story, but you know what? I feel like I have this elsewhere that I reach for more often. So this is going to be decluttered. Then I have the Pure Festival 2.0. I am going to declutter this. I got this, I think, in a BoxyCharm, and I've tried this a few times, and it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't really jive well with me. It's not bad. I mean, I can't say that like I hate it or anything like that. It's just not something that I reach for. I've tried, I mean, I've used it a few times, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times, and I just was not like overly impressed with the looks that I created. The shimmers, I don't know, they just feel like they need a lot more work than is necessary, at least what I think. And the mattes are fine, but I don't know. I am going to declutter this because I don't know, I don't think I'm ever going to reach for it again. Then I have the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. I love this palette. It is just stunning. I've only used this, I think, twice, but I got this in a deal off Amazon. This came with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. It was like, I don't know, 25 bucks for both together. And I was like, okay, sold. And yeah, I just think this is a gorgeous honey, yellowy, mustardy, goldy color story. It's just really fun to use. And the shadows perform amazingly well. Then I have the C Color Fairy Tale palette. Now I have no idea what this is duping. I love this palette. This is such a good quality palette. I really like this color story. I know maybe it's not super exciting, but the shimmers in this one right here is very duochrome. It's kind of like a, I don't know, brown to red to green flip. And then we have this one here, this kind of like grayish blue. It's just beautiful. And I really like this peach shimmer too. Doesn't look that exciting, but it just looks gorgeous on the lid. And yeah, I really like C Color palettes. Again, I know they're not everybody's favorites because they dupe other brands' palettes. If you know the dupe for this palette, let me know. I have no idea what it's duping, but yeah, and I think the packaging's cool. It's metal and it's cute and just sweet. I love it. Then I have the Bronze palette from C Color. This, I believe, is duping a Urban Decay palette as well. Sorry that I don't know all of the ins and outs here. I don't use this. I have used it before. It's very nice quality, but I feel like I have this color story elsewhere that I just will grab more often than this. So this is going to be Decluttered. Then I have the Cherry palette from C Color. This is duping a Urban Decay palette. This smells like cherries. It's so nice. And I really like this. I haven't used this a ton. I think I've only used it, I don't know, maybe 3 times. Need to get this out and use it, of course. But I am going to hold on to this one because I really do like the color story. I just think it's really pretty. And I don't have this color story a whole lot in my collection. Then I have the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. I love this. I got this off their website for like, I don't know, 25% off. I prefer the mattes in this palette over the shimmers. This one right here called Live in Lavish and this one right here called Love and Cocoa. I don't know. They're just kind of funky. They don't work as well as I thought they were going to. Like you see them in the pan, you think, oh yeah, and then you put them on your lid and you're like, no. But I am going to hold on to this. I do like this palette a lot and it smells like chocolate. I think it's so fun. And I really do like the packaging as well. Then I have the Revolution Color Book palette. Now, I don't know that I'm going to keep this because it's kind of obnoxious. We have all shimmers on this side and all mattes on this side. We have like a corresponding shimmer to the matte. And then there's like this plastic little sleeve that goes in the middle. I've used this. I think it's decent quality, but I don't know. I just felt like it was a little much. I don't know really why I bought this. It was on sale and I thought, oh, that'd be fun. And there's a few of these. There's like a blue and a green one. There's like a black and gray one. There's a brown one too, I think. I don't know. I just think that it's got more shades than what I need. So yes, I will be decluttering this as well. It's decent quality. It's just, I don't know. I just don't ever reach for this anymore. Then I have the Revolution. This is the Forever Flawless Decadent palette. And I really like this palette a lot. They have a ton of these different color stories with the same kind of packaging and formula. This is a really nice quality palette for Makeup Revolution anyway. I think it's great. And I love the color story, very vibrant and fiery and beautiful. And I really enjoy using this palette, so I will definitely be keeping this one. Then I have this Profusion palette. This is the Citrine palette. Now these are $5. They sell these at the local drugstore here. It's called Fred Meyer. It's kind of like a Walmart and a Target had a baby. That's what Fred Meyer is. This is gorgeous, beautiful, honey, mustardy, gold color story. I love this, and it was $5. I can't get over the fact that this is only $5 and it's such a great quality palette. I love having this in my collection. Then I have the Emeralds from Profusion. Again, $5. Got this at Fred Meyer as well. I love this palette. Beautiful green color story. The shimmers and the mattes are incredible. And I'm going to say it again. It's $5. Like, hello, I could not believe it. I like use this and I'm like, this is only $5. How is this possible? I mean, if this brand can do it for $5, I think every brand should be able to do it for $5, but they're not going to. But yeah, I love this so much and I will always keep this. Then I have the Royals palette from Profusion, another $5 palette. I think I am going to declutter this one just because I don't really use it very often. I've used it a few times and it's nice. It's fine. I mean, it's got great quality and beautiful shimmers and mattes, but I don't know. It's kind of a muted rainbow color story, I guess. Maybe more neutral rainbowy, or is it rainbow? I don't know. But anyway, I am going to declutter this one because I just don't really use it anymore. Then I have the Rubies from Profusion. I love this red color story. It's gorgeous. It's kind of like red, but then it also has some kind of like brownish red shades too. So you can kind of mix and match. You can do a more vibrant red look or maybe a toned down red look. $5, beautiful. I love having this. And then to round them out, I have the sapphires, and there's several of these. I mean, I have like the fuchsia and the violets, and I'd like to have all of them, but I need to calm down and not be so excessive, not so extra. This one I really like too. It's fun because you have the blues, but then you also have some neutral options to kind of tone it down if you don't want to go too crazy with the blues. Excellent formula, great quality, love this. Then I have, this is I think the Creme Brulee. Yes, this is Creme Brulee from I Heart Revolution. And I really like this palette. It's got a really cool color story. I like the different options that you have in here, and it's a really nice quality palette. I don't think it's the best quality in the entire world, but I like it. I think the mattes work well and the shimmers work really nicely too. So yes, I will be keeping this. Then I have the Tartelette in Bloom palette, and I haven't used this in such a long time, and it's so gorgeous and it smells so good. It's kind of like a chocolate vanilla mix to me. I've heard people say it smells like chocolate, other people smells like vanilla, but to me it's kind of a mixture of the two. And I love this. The shimmers are so soft and beautiful, and they just look lovely. The mattes blend out beautifully. This is such a beautiful neutral palette, and I love having this. Then I have this. This is the Revolution, let's see, the Reloaded Provocative palette. I am going to be decluttering this just because I haven't used this in a really long time. It's a decent palette, but it's not super exciting. It's not the best quality in the world. So yeah, this is going to go to a home that will give it some more love. Then I have this. This is the Makeup Revolution Foil Frenzy Hybrid. This is all shimmers, and I love using this. I just kind of forget that I have it. I've used it a couple of times, and the shimmers are so pretty. They look beautiful on the lid, and this is fun to pull out with one of my all matte palettes, so I will be keeping this. Then I have the other one. This is called the Fusion, and this is all shimmers too, just like that one I just showed you. This is, I guess more of like a warm toned. That one's more of a cool toned. And I just really like using these. These were very affordable palettes, and the shimmers in these babies are just stunning. Then I have an e.l.f. palette. This was given to me from my niece, Kira, Steph's daughter, who I just love with all of my heart and soul. And I've used this a couple of times. I love it. I will definitely be holding on to this. I just love the color story. It's a really easy palette to put a look together with, and it's very nice quality. Then I have the Makeup Revolution. This is the, let's see, Integrity Wild Animal palette. Now, I don't think I've used this, or no, yeah, I guess I have used this a couple of times. I don't know. I mean, this is a fine palette. It's just not a color story that I'm going to reach for very often. I mean, I could use these as like liners. I do have a little bit of that Inglot solution, the Duraline, that I could use to make liners with. So should I keep this? I don't know. I'm going to think about this one too. I don't know. No, I think I am just going to declutter this. I don't think I'm going to use this. Then I have the Revolution Black Ice palette. I really like the packaging of this. I think it's super cool. And I really like this color story, and the formula of this is really nice. I don't really hear anybody talking about this palette, but I've used it a few times and I really like it. And I love this bright red matte. It works really well. So I will be keeping this also. Then I have some Revolution Pro palettes. This is the Truth or Dare. I have a few of these, and I love the shimmers in these palettes. The mattes are really nice. I think this is a beautiful, fun color story. Then I have the Earth and Stone. This is the same type of palette. I love this one. I think the best out of the 4 that I have. I just think this is such a fun, grungy color story. And again, the shimmers in this are so beautiful. This one right here is kind of like a pink to white flip. Beautiful. Then I have the Rock and Royal. This is an all purple color story. Well, purple leaning, I guess I would say. There's some other options as well. This shimmer right here, oh, it's so pretty. It's like a kind of a pink and lavender shifting shade. This one's really nice too. And this one is gorgeous. I really like using this, and it's very affordable. Then I have the Revolution Pro Smoke and Mirrors palette. And this one is gorgeous as well. This shade right here, beautiful, like bright blue shimmer. This kind of seafoam green is lovely. And then this one is kind of a peachy gold shift. I love this palette. So glad I have it. Then we have the Makeup Revolution, the Emily Edit the Once palette. And I think this is such a gorgeous color story, but I have not used this near enough. It's kind of silly to have it sitting on a bookshelf and I don't use it. So I will be decluttering this. It kind of breaks my heart because I love Emily so much. She's one of my favorite creators. And, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like I use this enough. It's a really nice quality palette. There's nothing wrong with it. The shimmers and the mattes are very nice, but you know, I just don't use it. So I think it should go to somebody that will. Then I have the Cara Beauty Desert Oasis palette. I got this from TJ Maxx, and I love this palette. It's really pretty. There's so many different options. I mean, I think this is more suited for like a true makeup artist that's like doing other people's makeup, you know, give them tons of different options. But I really like having larger palettes in my collection because I feel like I can be a lot more creative with these. And I don't know, I love this palette, so I will be keeping this one. Then I have this one from Cara Beauty. This is the ES15. This is a plastic packaged palette. I love this color story. You know, there are some repeating shades in here, but I just really love this brand. I love the quality of these shadows, so I will be keeping this as well. Then I have the Fruit Pie Filling Palette from You Can Be. I got this off Amazon, and I love this palette. It's such a beautiful rainbow color story. You have so many different options in here. The quality of this palette is really nice, and it's very affordable. And I don't hear really anybody talking about this brand on YouTube, which, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just not for everybody, but I'm really happy that I have this palette. I love it, and it's really fun to use. Then I have the You Can Be Splashy Candies palette. I still have not used this. I got this off Amazon with a gift card. I just thought this looked like a lot of fun, and the reviews were really good. And like I said, I love this brand. So yeah, I do need to give this a try. It does have a pressed glitter in the center of these squares in each little color story here. I don't know about those. Pressed glitters. I'm not sure that I'm going to love those, but I do want to try them. So yeah, I think this would be really fun to play with, and I can't wait to finally do so. Then we have the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. This is one of my absolute faves. I've used this on my channel before too. Oh, this palette is just wonderful. It's got really nice quality. I know NYX can be kind of hit or miss, but this one to me is a total hit. This shade right here, this kind of like chartreuse shimmer, it's my favorite. I love this shimmer here, this kind of like light sage green. This one's gorgeous too, this like periwinkle blue purple shimmer, lovely. The mattes are really nice. Yeah, I'm really glad I have this. It's enormous, but it's really, really fun to pull this out and play with it. Then I have the Revolution Maxi Reloaded palette. I thought about decluttering this. I don't know. But I really do like this palette, and I like the fact that there's so many different options. I mean, you know, we do have some repeating shades, of course. I don't know that you need all of these shades in a palette, but I don't know. I just can't get rid of this one yet. I've had this one for a really long time. This is one of like, I think this is the first like large palette I ever purchased, and I got this off the Makeup Revolution website for super cheap. It was like 50% off, and I don't know. I just kind of have a soft spot in my heart for this, so I will be keeping this. This is the Naughty palette from BH Cosmetics. I'm going to try to get this whole palette in frame here. This is so beautiful. I believe this was their 2020 holiday release palette. And Makeup and Chaos, Ash and I used this palette together in a palette bingo. This shade here called Candied Fruit is my favorite shade in this palette. I want to eat it. It just looks like candied fruit. But I'm going to hold off and not end up going to the hospital to have my stomach pumped. But this is just a fun, beautiful, great quality palette, and I love it. This is the Beauty Bay Bright palette, and again, I'm going to try to get this whole thing in frame here. This is such a beautiful rainbow palette. Cheryl, one of my dear friends and subscribers on YouTube, and we also follow each other on Instagram, she recommended this palette to me, and I got it, and I love it. It's such great quality. Beauty Bay makes really nice palettes, and this is so fun because you have a bazillion different options in here. You can go totally creative, you can go monochromatic, you can do whatever you want with this bad boy, and I love having it, and I'm so glad that Cheryl suggested that I pick this up because it's one of my favorites. Then I have the Be Perfect Stacey Marie Carnival 3 Love Tahiti palette, and this is phenomenal. I love this palette so much. The quality is just impeccable. Freya from Freya's Makeup Lounge, she and I did looks with this palette together in a collab video. She chose this row of shadows for me, and I chose this row of shadows for her randomly with the random generator app. And her look was stunning. I loved my look. This palette is just incredible. I highly recommend picking this up. The quality, the shimmers, the mattes, I mean, you're gonna have so much fun with this palette if you don't own it already. This is the You Can Be Spotlight palette. Got this off Amazon as well. Beautiful rainbow color story. We have a lot of different options in this palette. Now, the shimmers, I guess I would say they're a little bit softer. They're not like super dynamic bang, but they're really, really pretty. And the mattes are really, really nice too. They blend out beautifully. And I so enjoy using this palette. Then I have the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette, and I love this. We have the baked shimmers around the outside here. We have a highlighter in the center, and then we have some mattes around the middle. I am in love with this palette. I love these baked shimmer shades so much. I think this is so fun. You can get very creative with this palette. These shimmer shades are very duochromy, very flippy, and they look like liquid metal on the lid. I know I'm a broken record, but I'm telling you, I'm so happy that I have this palette. And I don't know that you can get this anymore. I hope that you can. But if you can pick this up somewhere, I recommend it because it is gorgeous. It's really fun. Then I have the BH Cosmetics Ultimate Matte Palette. Now, I haven't used this in a really long time. I do have the Profusion Mattes palette, so I don't know. I don't know that I'm ready to get rid of this yet. Just because I do like having all matte palettes to go with my all shimmer palettes. I know I've said that like 3,000 times, but this is a really nice quality palette. I don't think it's BH Cosmetics best, but I do think it's really nice. And I like having a lot of different matte options. So I think right now I'm going to hold on to this. That may sound weird, but maybe the next time around I will declutter this. Then I have the BH Cosmetics Nuvo Neutrals palette, and this has eyeshadows and blush. Now, I have not used this in forever. I really liked using it when I first got it, and I don't know why I don't use it as much anymore. I guess just because I have other things that I like better that I would grab for before this one. So this one I am going to be decluttering. I think I know exactly who would want this, my daughter. She really likes these tones, and I think she'd love the fact that there's a bunch of blush in here. So yes, she is going to be getting this palette. And I have the Morphe 35P. This is the Plum Pleasures palette, and I love this palette. I haven't used it in a really long time. It's got a lot of repeat shades in here, but I am going to hold on to this because I love the purples. And I do have another very large purple palette from Morphe that I'm going to keep too. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of silly and wasteful, but I don't know. I really like using this. Like I said, I just haven't used it in a while, but I'm just not ready to give this up yet. This is one of my very first like larger palettes that I got too. So it's kind of got some sentimental value to me. And yeah, I really like it. So I'm going to hold on to it. This is the Morphe 35C Everyday Chic palette, and I love this color story. I think it's so beautiful, and yeah, I will be keeping this one too. I just really think this is lovely, and I really like having this in my collection. I love the greens that are in here. This shade is gorgeous too. This shade right here, this kind of like reddish pink shimmer, beautiful. This light pink shimmer is really nice. Does have a pressed glitter, haven't used that, but yeah, I just think this is a really fun color story, so I will be keeping this, at least for a little while. Then I have the Morphe 25A, I believe it is. This is the Copper Spice. I don't use this at all anymore, so I will be decluttering this. I mean, it's pretty, but it's just kind of, doesn't really do it for me anymore. So yes, this will be decluttered. Then I have the Morphe Make and Bank palette. I really like this. I think this is so pretty. My son got me an Ulta gift card, and so I went and picked this up with that. I just really like the color story, and you know, I'm not a huge Morphe fan. It kind of looks like I am because I do have a lot of their palettes. That was before I kind of knew that they were a little bit suspect. I don't know that I'll ever use this on my channel necessarily, but I really do like the color story and I do like the quality of this palette, so I will be holding on to this as well. Then I have the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette. Oh my gosh, I love this palette. It's such a gorgeous cool tone palette and the quality is amazing. I've used this on my channel. Marina and I did a holiday collab and we used this together, and oh boy, it was a palette bingo. I just could go crazy gushing over this palette for 3 hours, but we're pushing the limit here, folks. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I love this palette. It's kind of well loved, but I will keep this baby forever. Then I have the Morphe 35W palette. And again, haven't used this in a really long time, so I'm going to declutter this one as well. This is a really nice palette. It's just, I don't feel like it's necessary to keep this in my collection anymore because I have these shades elsewhere and I have not pulled this out in, oh my God, a long time. So yeah, this is going to go bye-bye. Then I have the Morphe 35M. This is the Boss Mood, and I will be keeping this because I think this is such a gorgeous color story. I love the varying tones, like the greens and the purples and the pinks and the browns. I don't know, this just really says, I love you to me. So I am going to be keeping this palette. I've used this twice now. This I also got with a gift card that my son got me for Christmas, I think. And yeah, I just love this. I think it's gorgeous. Now this is the big daddy of them all. This is the Such a Gem palette, or Just a Gem. I think it's Such a Gem. And I am madly in love with this palette. I saw this on the Morphe website and I think I got it on sale. I'm pretty sure I did. And I was like, oh, it's huge, but I got to get it because it's got all these beautiful purple tones in here. And this row in the center, they're kind of like topper shimmers, but I mean, they can stand alone too. Katie, Makeup for Lost Time, she just used this, I don't know, maybe a month ago, I think, in a video, and she created such a gorgeous look with it. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get that palette out and use it. So that's my plan, is to get this out soon and use it again, because I just love it. It's got a very soft spot in my heart. I love this palette. Then we have the Zodiac Love Signs, and I really love this too. Again, you have that similar layout to the Zodiac palette. It's got the baked shimmers on the outside, the mattes around the middle, and then we have a highlighter in the center. And this is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I don't know that this is still available either, but really, really happy that I have this in my collection because it's just so much fun and it works beautifully. All right, I've got 2 more palettes and then we're done with part 1. This is the Ciate London Editor palette. And I got this, I believe, in a BoxyCharm. And it's fine, but to be honest, I just don't ever pull this out and use it. So I think I'm going to give this away as well. It's not a bad palette. It's decent, but it's not like mind-blowing wonderful. And I feel like I have this color story already in palettes that I like more than this one. So this is going to go to another home. And the last palette here, this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon 32 pan eyeshadow palette. And this is gorgeous. And it was so affordable. I got this at the drugstore for like, I don't know, $4 or $5. And I have not used this in quite a while, but I really do want to keep this because I really like the shades in here, the different tones, and the quality is really nice. And I love Wet n Wild. I really do. I know they're not everybody's favorites, but I have been using Wet n Wild products since I was, what, 6th grade, 11 years old. So yes, I'm going to keep this. I think it's gorgeous. I really like the shimmers and the mattes. The shimmers I like better than the mattes, but the mattes are fine too. So yes, I'm going to keep this. Hooray. Alrighty, that was the end of part 1 of my eyeshadow palette collection and declutter video. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching that. Now keep your eyes out for part 2. That will be coming soon. This was a lot of fun to go through all my palettes with you guys and show you what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of. I would love to know if you guys have these palettes, what you think of the palettes, if you would have kept them or decluttered them. Let me know what you think. But yeah, this was so much fun. So keep your eyes out for part 2. It'll be coming at you soon. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to watch my video. It means the world to me, especially this longer video. If you have subscribed, you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads, and I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I cannot wait to see you guys again soon. Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Bye.